There's this artist that I think about every so often, the creator of a comic that, outside of some moments, I adore, called Senorita Cometa. This creator, Are-chan, makes a lot of silly posts about their characters on Instagram. Two of these characters are quite fascinating to me. The main girl, Alex, our bisexual queen, is trying to find her best friend Lola after Alex had confessed to her that she had a crush on her, eventually realizing that Lola, after running away from the confession, has been kidnapped by one of the mafias in the city. Alex becomes Cometa, a vigilante hero, in order to save her. There's this post that the creator made to the tune of the song Good Luck Babe, based on an art trend with two girls, one who's married to a man she never loved, and one haunting the married girl as a "I told you so, we could have been together" kind of thing. Lola and Alex follow this trend in the post. Now, the usual audience for this art meme is, unsurprisingly, queer girls who are going through it, but in the weirdest of circumstances, the almighty algorithm, did not recommend it to queer women. Oh, it did not. It was wild to stumble upon the comments and see the ways that many very weird folks would argue about how Lola, a character they had never seen before, was totally happy in her life, and that there was nothing wrong with being married. Why is this making it seem like marriage is a bad thing? Which is an interpretation of the artwork. Is it the intended one? There was a sort of out-of-body experience at this moment to see a creator share art of characters they cherished, just to have them blatantly misinterpreted, their experiences stretched, distorted, to fit a grossly misunderstood view. Now, at the time, none of my characters had ever gone viral, none of my art at the time was really viewed, so it was easy to simply digest this post as it was. The odd comments, the gorgeous video, the weird experience of your blood, sweat, and tears being put into something only for it to reach those who may never understand it, and moved on. I think a lot of people dream of blowing up, but not like this. Foreshadowing is a literary device in which there's an incessant need after seeing every other person online trying to do the very same thing. Every aspect of their lives a spectacle to picture, record, plaster on every social media possible. And for me, I just want to post stories, the books, comics, shows that have distinctly altered me and countless others. I want to be a part of that in small and big ways. I want my creations to be just as insignificant as the first manga a person read that impacted them, to be just as significant as the story read to them that they've long forgotten. It means everything to me. And so the idea of people enjoying my art is appealing just as much as gaining attention as an individual is very nerve-wracking. I've built myself up on a house of anxiety, and I've been trying to tear that down while also, building something better in place of it. It doesn't help that the culture in the real world and online, ever since the horrors of the pandemic, and far before that even, has become very unforgiving. You know this, I know this, cancellation, and yet the simultaneous lack of accountability, fear culture, and blatant, inconsiderate commentary, in the hopes you get top comment, the #1 trending video, money. All of this is the standard. I don't want to delve into very specific internet dramas because, quite frankly, they all get blended into the same cesspool of drama that the internet thrives in, but the cyclic nature of hunting others and then waiting with bated breath for the next person to hunt is quite unfortunate. It leaks into the comments of people that a person even enjoys. I remember reading comments saying how much someone loves a creator, and then that very same comment will go into a protective statement about themselves and how this was all written before a creator might get canceled. Not confirmed. This person had never been canceled before. This was just the thing that this person wrote to protect them from a potential future cancellation this creator might have eventually. You've seen these comments. But like, for me, I really want the dream of a small, ravenous community of like queer femme losers who are obsessing over fictional people, and in a way that isn't we're gonna get to this. The audience I want to facilitate are people who are willing to improve, people who can accept the bad parts of others while also having the capacity to understand and guide them into becoming better people. And, this is also important, also making sure that they understand that their help might not work out, and that's okay. You can guide a horse to water, but sometimes they're not gonna drink it. Oh, they're not gonna drink it. If you did your best, that's all you can do. Now, what does this have to do with art? Well, what happens when the art that is built to change others interacts with the very weird way that the internet acts? There's a distinct lack of empathy, of kindness, of general willingness to engage with what someone has made in a way that's like respectful of the fact that a human being made it. Anonymity, knee-jerk responsiveness in social media, and the overwhelm of it all has made people flighty, and thus anything that arouses emotion is taken to the height of that emotion. Anger, sadness, joy, sexuality, all of it gets filtered into this heightened internet, optimized for grabbing people's attention, shifting their perceptions. And sometimes, if people are really disgusting, these choices repel community, camaraderie. I don't know how this keeps happening, but the 2 times that my short little animations and animatics have blown up, it's been a lot of grossness. Specifically, it's a lot of grossness because if you know how some very straight and very cisgender men are, especially those who are shown and consistently engage with really disturbing, degrading depictions of women, well, you know how they responded to this. And I know it's majority men because there's this funny little part of YouTube statistics that tells me, this number. Not all men, but certainly a fucking chunk. It's one thing when you scroll into a comment section on a random video and see really weird comments because you can just move past that post. It's another thing when you are the person who's made that creation and has to moderate it. Something I've only kind of been able to do because if I did it all the time, I wouldn't possibly be able to draw or have my faith in humanity intact. It is hanging by a thread. Now, is this the end of the world? No. God, no. Ooh, I have had worse experiences in real life. My career in real life has a greater than 0 number of fully independent men telling me that they just need a person to help them use the urinal. No, I really need a woman to help me. And then miraculously being able to do so the moment a male staff member walks in to help. Or people deciding to throw objects, grab, grope, threaten others, or ask me about where I'm from. Where am I really from? Actually. I know you were born here, but I don't know if you know this. You're not? What? But, gods, something about seeing people completely clothesline your creation and go straight to really disturbing comments or write reactions that are so left field that you're just left aghast. It's truly an experience like no other. Certainly not my target audience when they threaten to put my little fictional characters into non-consensual situations. I do have to say, dehumanizing others, being unable to engage with a slightly flirty fictional character without jumping to weird, horrific fantasies, you wonder why people do not want to engage with you. I believe the answer lies in how you act. It really does, truly. Ow. And it's that out-of-body horror that occurs when the audience you're hoping to foster, for me, shoujo-obsessed weirdos, is taken away from you, from circumstances outside of your control. I did not ask for this. The algorithm on YouTube decided to create this very specific version of torture. Now, don't get me wrong, people are allowed to be thirsty and weird over fictional characters. If that wasn't allowed, I would be the first one killed. I am a hypocrite like no other. It's not that. It's the lack of common decency and sometimes media literacy that's very unnerving. Unsurprising considering it's the internet. But Unnerving nonetheless, when art is now being looked at by those you were hoping would never look at it in the first place, it builds a sour taste in your mouth. Every creation and machination is left to nurture under the care of hands you never wanted your art to touch, eyes you hoped would never bear witness. Some of the comments I've had to moderate are so vile, it's not even funny. Like, change what you consume about women. Read an AO3 fic. I will give recommendations that I think will change you for the better than whatever the hell you're watching. I'm gonna be real. If I'm honest, it all started to affect me a little bit. For context, I love drawing this girl. She's an original character named Amaranthia. And take a shot. I'm talking about her in another video again. Here we go. I can't help it, okay? I have to talk about her. A lot of Amy's outfits are based on how Indian women dressed pre-colonization from the British. Blouses were not a staple, and in far, far older generations, Indian women would commonly be topless or wear very thin, transparent garments. And Amy, to me, is a love letter to the feminine, to that beauty in the unsexualized representation of women, while also being someone who is very much a flirtatious person, human in all the ways she is not. She has scars, she has stretch marks, has been a mother, is eldritch, is grounded, is kind, is cruel. She is everything. To have someone put her down, objectify, and yearn to debase her, and to have people overwhelmingly agree that they would do the same. It's a lot to have a character you care so much about, someone you created, be treated as lesser than. Worse when it's more than one small voice, and instead a cacophony of sounds and dings. Do note that if I'm using sillier comments for this section, you're fine. The people who do silly mischaracterizations can live, I promise. It is what it is. It's the ways of fandom, for sure. People simplify characters all the time, alright? My poor sweet smart boy. He's being mischaracterized as we speak. Who did this to you, Callum? Who? Fandom culture is fandom culture. It's just really surreal when fandom culture happens to you. And because it's happened to me, there's this hesitation that started to grow over my drawings, ones that I was so excited to post. Shoujo-esque comments of intimacy and horror and splices of life and outfits now bring fear that no matter what I create, it will be twisted, forsaken in a way that I can't control. And that makes me kind of scared. Not because other people say so is really that important when it's about a character they don't even have any rights over and also doesn't exist, but more because hesitating to post my voice is scary. I want to show unabashed images of these characters, but now there's this little whisper of fear that it'll happen again. Their messages lost in the hands of those who will seldom be willing to engage in them, in what these characters represent. AKA, external pressure can be really discouraging when you're trying to create something. I've seen this not just with fictional stories, but also, of course, with people bashing on others' art styles, their opinions on benign things in life, i.e. waffle versus pancake, and also, people being happy in a relationship. It isn't just limited to art. This is especially relevant because when algorithms figure something out about you and then proceed to show you the most heinous stuff in relation to that something? I don't know why it took Instagram this long, but it finally figured out that this subcontinent and I have something in common, and then proceeded to show me an incredulous amount of recent rage bait comments towards Indians. Specifically, it would show a video from Indian and non-Indian creators fighting against these heinous comments, like showing a Gordon Ramsay clip where he makes street food in India, a concert in India where people are surprised that Indian people could be attractive, a video about an Indian person talking about their experiences with dealing with hate online. And of course, because the internet is an Ouroboros and we are a snake eating its own tail, all of this would feed into each other, and the heinous comments, now with fetishistic add-ons for the low price of $19.87.
Was that the bite of 87?
Would return under these videos fighting against them. And then others are compelled to reply to these gross comments, and so on, so forth, with those who initially made those hurtful comments digging themselves into deeper, deeper pits of their bigotry. The pointed harassment and othering of marginalized communities is meant to discourage, to put people down, to make them smaller, so that the person bringing them down can feel like they've gone up, and the totem pole gets easier to climb. For them. It's odd and cruel for oddness and cruelty's sake. It's funny. So funny. And it feels good, doesn't it? To be in a community where others understand, can say that they feel lonely too, especially in a world that can feel more and more torn apart if you stay in certain spaces. But it's also important to recognize that stepping out into discomfort, exploring opinions that may not be the ones that you've surrounded yourself by for so long, may bring something better. And it's also important to recognize that you can make jokes without demeaning others, aka an entire group of people. I promise, there are better alternatives than burying yourself deeper into whatever hole you've dug. Grab a hand and get the hell out. Expose yourself to different viewpoints. I am begging. A lot of these experiences help me reinforce and reevaluate what to do when other people have their insights, both intriguing and intrusive. Thankfully, most of the comments on the videos are pretty benign and silly, but for the ones that truly grossed me out, if you notice that in your own comment sections, I'll take it from me, you are good to delete those comments. A comment is annoying and verges on being gross, delete it. Putting other people down in malicious ways, delete it. An account starts following you and in their bio says that they're a fucking fascist, yes, this actually happened, delete it, aka block them. I blocked them so quick. People disagreeing is one thing, defiling others is another, and if it gets to that level, you are well within your rights to regulate your own space. Of course, if people are making points that actually respectfully critique behaviors and actions you've taken, then that is something to take into consideration. I am not infallible. I am a human and I have made mistakes. I have done objectively bad, good, and mediocre things. And instead of dwelling on those bad things, it is important to take the learning opportunity so that you and others make strides. I want to keep growing so that I can become a better person and create a better world, cultivate stories that make others want to do the same. And slowly but surely, I'm doing it. Don't just improve because others say you have to, also genuinely look at your behavior and understand why they are critiquing you. Once you understand, that is where atonement begins. I don't really believe in holding what a person has done over their head unless genuinely they've done something truly irreversibly reprehensible, or they are so unwilling to apologize and change that they just keep digging themselves in the pit. But the community caused by systemic problems, misogyny, racism, queerphobia, etc., we are all living in it, have grown up in it, and untangling yourself from that is a sensitive process, but it is a necessary one. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be missteps and miscalculations. You are going to misspeak and hurt others and hurt yourself, and it is worth it. Because the world is improved when you find beliefs that don't perpetuate harm, when you make the effort to grow and nurture other people's lives so that the future and current generations do not have to grow up hurting others like we did, don't have to carry the burdens our systems have placed upon us. Some particular favorite videos on this topic are a lot of like Khadija Mboya videos. I watched a lot of them when I was younger, and this Ismatu Gwendolyn video, oh, it is life-changing. Oh, their mindset, their thoughts on money and how they can impact the world, it's such a good video. Oh my god, it's so good. Adding on top of that, this might be a weird recommendation, but Dropout has some really good videos that, while not directly focused on changing your brain, I think has a positive impact, especially any interviews with Brendan Lee Mulligan. He has this one video, not on Dropout, but just in the void, about how he was bullied and then did bully someone, and how all of that culminated in him changing and growing into becoming the human that he is today. There's something about seeing someone acknowledge the hurt they've caused others and knowing that that person has become a kinder human being. That's like, even in the comment section of that video, something that resonated with so many people, a wave of relief that washed over everybody, that someone who is such a strong advocate for the bettering of humanity can also have messed up and grown from that mess up, that you too can be that person. It's something I really resonated with as well. Hurt people. And we can also make the effort to help. Also, adding another person on top of this, Zoran Mamdani videos, really odd to recommend a politician in a video where I'm trying to help people feel positive, I know, but his just feel really happy. Like, there's this warmth in them when he breaks down what needs to be fixed or adjusted in New York. The honesty that reminds me that there is a better option. Like, look at this shit. This is pure joy, dude. The world can give a lot of anxiety, which can compel us to do some pretty nasty stuff, whether to our own communities or to others outside of our spheres. Now, thankfully, anxiety spirals and moments of fame don't last forever, unless you're particularly great or terrible, of which I am mid. I am very much mid, but the cacophony of sounds will die out. The comments slow, the attention ebbs and flows, and you and I still remain as people, as beings with time as our infinite and finite currency. And with that, I ask you to do something kind with it. It can be overwhelming to see the ways in which the world hurts, but it can be healing too. I seldom watch the news because I am privileged to not always have to keep up with it, but not so much in recent times. And with my free time outside of work, I really found that local and digital change is so nice. It's just really nice. Volunteering at a food bank, working with marginalized communities, donating to causes that spark my interest, complimenting a stranger every time I go out. And it doesn't have to be just that, obviously. There are bigger changes and smaller ones. Speaking at your local city councils or school board meetings, looking into community gardens or trying to create a union. It's all truly impactful. Even just watching one video that's outside of your usual sphere of people. Talking to coworkers or peers about their biases and stereotypes when you notice them. It creates a space for discussion without the knee-jerkness of the internet. And that's what cultivates community. With all of this, taking a break, taking a chill pill, being able to look at the big picture, I have gained confidence in myself and what I make again. If there's something I rightfully need to change about me, I will do it. Because this isn't the first time that you and I have needed to change. And it won't be the last. That's the beauty of being human. Hello, thanks for watching this godforsaken video. The only way I could conceivably cope with the slog of vileness I had to sift through was tying it back to a video I've wanted to make for a while about becoming a better person, even with the harm you've caused. It's a topic that's close to my heart because I am and have been that person. Whoa! Who could have seen it coming? YouTube really sent 12-year-old me on an alt-right pipeline spiral, and I am thankful I got out before it got worse. It really could have ended badder than it already was. The friends that stuck with me and pushed me into becoming the person I am today, they will keep pushing me, and I will keep pushing them into becoming better and better, and I am eternally thankful for it. It's hard to recognize you're wrong, but I think the worst experience is staying in that wrongness, letting it fester, and believing you are all the more righteous for it. So, I'm glad to have cut out that wound, and you can too, for the low, low price of acknowledging that you are capable of change. Thank you to my patrons on the screen who got to watch this and other little projects early. Keep growing and becoming a better human. Bye!